Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan, if you didn't know, now you know, and we're trying something new today. The view might look different. Instead of putting everything on separate devices, I am putting it all together through my computer, recording it as one thing, and so we'll see. Let me know what you think comparatively, but today, as you can see by the title, we're testing sensitive dip liquids, hypoallergenic. Will I get dip flu? Probably, but I hope not. We'll find out. Okay, so as you guys know, I am highly susceptible to dip flu. If you don't know what dip flu is, it's an allergic reaction that you get from the fumes of dip liquids. Feels a lot like the flu. It can last for a short time or a long time. For me, it tends to be a long time. There's not a lot of sensitive dip liquids on the market, but this is the one that's easiest to come by. It has a combo, it has a base coat that the ingredients are slightly different. It has an activator, and then the top coat's actually gel, which is different than traditional dip liquids. Usually the base and the top are the same liquid. Maybe that helps to just cut down on your exposure. If you're allergic to gel though, that may be an issue. So we'll see, but let's look at the ingredients. Voiceover Megan here. For some reason, the sound during this whole section has vanished, but the base coat is ethyl cyanoacrylate on this kit, and on a traditional dip liquids, it's ethyl cyanoacrylate, but it is also polymethyl methacrylate, which is probably the ingredient that does cause the allergy since it's being left out on the Revel kit. The activator is also different. They both have the ethyl acetate, but this one has the dimethylamine, which is probably not how you say that word. And this one has dihydroxyethyl toluidine, which is also probably not how you say that word. So that variant may make a difference. I'm not really sure how, and I don't know if the activator is part of the allergens. And then of course this one, the top coat, is a gel that needs to be cured in the lamp, whereas on the traditional liquids it's exactly the same as the base coat. All right, what do you say we open her up? There's a QR code if you want to pause and scan it, but this is what we see when we open the bottles. Oh, the box, I mean. So gel top coat is in this silver bottle. It is not transparent. Gel needs to be protected. We have a clear bottle here with step number 2. That would be the activator. And then we have a clear bottle with step number 1. So that would be the base coat. These bottles are cute and really good size. They're quite large. This should last a while. This gel doesn't say how long it needs to be cured, but I'm going to just go for a minute because that would be the safe choice. All right, so I've picked out 2 dips that I want to use. This one's from Nail Candy, and it is called Lost in Space. This one is from Secret Nail Affair. It is called Dark Melody. I am putting these together because this has pink, blue, and black, and this is a black with some pink glitter in it, so I think it'll tie together. This is going to be my 3 main fingers, and this will be my 2 accent fingers, but we're going to use the sensitive dip liquids to apply these. So I'm going to put this paper towel down here because I don't know how to not spill my dip, and I'm going to have my liquid sitting over here to the side. Let's get this opened up. Do not be concerned about what my nails look like. I know there's some black. It's because I had black paint on before, and I had to clean it off and then file this down, but some of it is kind of like under the edges. But it's whatever. My nails are prepped, and so this is gonna stick. And we'll start with the pinky as per the usual. I will let you know if I smell anything. This room is not exactly well ventilated, but I'm also not gonna try and just lean into it either. Generally, dip liquids are very strong smelled and fumey. You can feel it in your eyes. I have no protective equipment on currently, and I will be leaving the links to the respirator and stuff that I generally use, as well as links to everything else in the description. So we've got some of that. Let's dip her in. Yes. We've got 1, Tap it off, of course. Okay. We've got us a little layer going. Definitely don't forget to go around your edges and clean those out. Make sure that you're not getting your glitter stuck down in them. Obviously, we're going to need more than one layer, but no surprise there. Let's move to the next one. So far, I'm not smelling anything, which is a good sign. Maybe it's that other ingredient that usually causes that. Let me just do this one like this. Got quite a few glitters that time. Let me back this up a little bit so that it's not so blurry. Get that off of there. That one too. Yeah. And you'll want to make sure you're tapping them down as you go because you don't want your glitters sticking up, making it awkward. And then also try not to get your liquid too thick. The thicker it is, the more it's going to pick up, but also the longer it's going to take to dry, but also not too thin because you want it to actually pick something up. You know, the great thing about these dip bases, not only do they adhere your dips, but they're an excellent glue. So you can use them to stick other things on, like glitter and charms of sorts, because on the next dip video you're going to see, we're going to be doing exactly that. These about here. Yes. Alright, let's start back over here, but first you want to make sure you are dusting before you go back in. That way you're not clogging your brush up. That is one issue that happens pretty commonly with dip, is your brush for your base will harden because you're mixing too much dip powders that are sitting on your nails into it when you're swiping it on there and it's drying. I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of extra work here on the tip because it is not getting good coverage. I'm getting glitter everywhere, but this is, you know, one of the things about dip. It gets everywhere, so keep a file because you're gonna want to rub that off. Let's get us another layer on this one. Try and focus some of it down here. See, I've just dumped some out. Now my observation is that it doesn't dry as quickly as traditional dip liquids. It feels like it's a bit softer because even when I'm pushing this down, it doesn't feel very sticky. Let's do our next layer on that one. This edge is missing a little bit, so I think we're gonna have to circle back and add another layer. But let's get back over here and see if we can't do something about the end of this. Alright, yeah, we definitely got more on there. Let's wipe it like that. And I'm really gonna try to be delicate with it because I don't want to knock more off than absolutely necessary. I want it to have a chance to set. That nail is getting quite thick. We will file it at the end. One more on this one, I suppose, because we definitely want them to be relatively even though this one's got great coverage already. Can't hurt to even them out a little bit. And then let's get one last coat on the index finger and then we'll switch to the other dip. So far, so good. Still not smelling anything. So this might be a success and I will be so happy if it is because I really love doing dip nails, but I hate wearing that respirator. Alright, so those are on there pretty good. I'm going to let that have some time to dry. And while we're doing that, what I like to do is just take a file and go it across the skin to get this dried dip liquid and stuff off of there. It doesn't hurt. Alright, I've got us a fresh paper towel down because that one was covered in glitter. Let's do this nail and the thumb, of course. And I'm going to do 3 layers on those as well, just because that's what I did on the first colors. This one is a much finer powder. It doesn't have all the glitter chunks in it. So it's going to go on with a bit of a smoother look. Like, look how pretty that is already. Look, I've already made a mess. It's pushing out. And then you also want to make sure that you are making your cuticles clean even when you're using a finer grit powder. Dust it off, second coat. So far, so good. I'm doing a pretty clean job over here on this nail. Sometimes the nails can start to get shiny again. Just give it some more dip. It's because the liquid is soaking up the powders. Uh-oh, a glitter got in here. We don't want that on there. You're not part of this. Get out of there. Smooth that out. Yeah, and then make sure you're giving it a sufficient amount of time between layers to dry. Otherwise, it's just gonna get all smudged up and like crinkly. So, you know, a good 60 seconds between there is probably a safe bet. All right, we've got our 3 layers of that one added on here as well. Make sure you're dusting your fingers. Let's check on these glitters. They're looking pretty good, yes. Now, these glitters are quite textured. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of translucent dip, transparent, clear, to smooth it out a little bit. You want to make sure you are giving this a good bit of effort to knock off any loose glitters. Don't scrub super hard because you haven't activated this, so you don't want to take it off just yet, but you do want to get the loose ones off. There seems to be a contaminant in there. Take that out. We don't need that. Let's put us a fresh paper towel. And I'm just going to try and do one good layer of this because we're just trying to smooth. We're not really trying to build it up. Let that sit for a minute so it can soak at it a little bit. Don't worry if it looks a little bit white for now. That will change. So here are our nails. That one's still drying a little bit. What we would do next is we're gonna go in and file them. I like to use a hand file. You can use an e-file if you would like. E-files are great for around the cuticle, but for the smoothing purposes, I feel like a hand file gives you a crisper and smoother shape and finish. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we'll start over here, and we definitely want to, oh, I almost forgot. Before we file, we wanna activate because it's gonna come off in chunks. So we've got our activator. Now, activator is something that you're going to want to use generously. Don't be shy. Get it on there. It has to penetrate. And you really want this down in all the layers. I can smell this. I hope this one isn't one of the liquids that are reactive, but we will find out. And I'm going to, of course, put it on these glittery ones first, and then I will circle back to get it on those other ones with less work to do. And if you get like dip color start to build up on your brush, wipe it off on your paper towel before you put it back in the bottle. That way it doesn't transfer your color. Isn't it cool how it looks when you put the activator on there? It just like up in there. Watch. See, it's dry and no more. Isn't that awesome? It's so interesting. Yeah, you want to use a good amount of this. So I've got a good layer on each one, and I'm going to give this a moment, and then I'm going to do another layer of activator just to make sure before we start filing, but I'll come back in about 2 minutes. All right, so that's had those 2 minutes to dry. Let's put a little more, and by a little, I mean like a lot. Yeah, know. And then after this, we'll give it a longer time to dry. Now, I know, hypothetically, this is supposed to go quickly, but I find that if I don't wait long enough for it to dry, the inside is not dry, and then it crumbles when I'm trying to file. So I'm gonna probably give it a good 10 minutes to get nice and dry before I start the filing. So I will come back momentarily. You won't even notice. Okay, listen. Can you hear it? It's like that hard clickety sound. That's what you're looking for. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the filing. Let me zoom out. Probably gonna do most of this off camera, but I'm just gonna give you an idea. So you wanna kinda go under to make sure these sides are crisp, and then also turn it up on the side so that you can get that bulk trimmed down, because you don't want fat nails. At least I don't. And then you'll turn it around and do the same thing over here. You get underneath it because you want that to be clean off under there, and then get at that side to get that bulk. And of course, don't forget your ends. You want a crispy end. So hard to do pinkies, but basically that is it. And then we'll come back and we'll go around the cuticles with the e-file. And then for smoothing across here, what I like to do is kind of go like this and roll it back and forth so that it's working it down in an even layers. And so you can see that it's smoothing it out. There's some unevenness and you can tell by the color, but that method will help to smooth it out. And then you'll want to get to where you're kind of going at this angle so that it's thinner towards the end and thicker back here so that you have an apex. All right, so we've got a bunch of the filing done. And so the shape is coming together. We just need to get the e-file out and go around the cuticles. Now for this, you're gonna try and be careful. Make sure you're anchoring because you do not want to cut yourself. And I like to use this safety bit. It's got this rounded end, so I'm less likely to mess up my cuticles because I am notorious for knocking holes in my cuticles. And I just go over it gently so I can kind of shave it down. You can always do more, but if you take off a big chunk, you can't put it back. So be easy with it. Don't go too fast, don't go too hard. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. What do you think? And then I'll come back when they're done. Okay, so we've got them all filed up and shaped. They're looking super cute. I'm gonna go in with another layer of activator just because I like to make sure it is super good and activated. But we'll just do that quickly. It shouldn't take much time because this doesn't have to be particularly thick with activator. This is just a final step to make sure that it's completely hard before we seal everything in with our top coat, and to get a final look at it. If there's any damaged areas, now would be the time to repair them, but I think I did a pretty good job on not tearing them up. So like, what do you think so far? Look, I'm pretty cute. Yes, I think so too. Let me back that up so it's not as blurry. Yeah. All right, it's coming together. So I'll give that a few minutes and then we'll go in with the top coat. All right, so that's dry. Remember, our top coat is a gel. So we're gonna go in with this. Let's have a look at it. All right, so consistency. It is not too thick, not too thin. Yep, I think this will go on here really beautifully. We're gonna be careful with it because I do not want to get this on my skin though. I like to wipe one side of the brush off so I don't have too much on there, and start out here at the ends. Work your way up. You want to be real careful up here around the skin to not get it on there. That is how you develop allergies. And I, for one, am 100% allergic to gel polishes, but for some reason I've been more tolerant to like building type gels. So I don't know what that's about, but look how beautiful that's looking already. Stunning. Let me throw these other ones on real quick. Alright, so I've got these three. We'll do the thumb separately. You can definitely smell the gel. People have varying opinions on the smell of gel. I am not a fan, but I'm going to stick this in the lamp for 60 seconds. Let's touch it. Make sure it's not a sticky top coat. Oh, it is. Or it's not cured, but I believe it must just be a sticky top coat. Weird. Was not expecting that. Top coats are generally no wipe these days, I would think, but I brought some alcohol and a lint-free wipe just in case. So let's wipe it off. And there's some texture. I mean, for the most part it's kind of smooth, but this one's certainly got some texture spots. This one's okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth that texture off with this buffer and maybe do another layer of top coat. There we go. That feels more smooth. This one actually has a little bit of a rough spots as well. Of course, it's the glitter ones. Okay, yeah, that feels smoother. Let's get that dust off. And let's do a second top coat on those glitters. Okay, let's cure that again. There they are. What do you think? I think they are super, super cute. I like them a lot. I'm going to get you some photos and stick them in here as well so you can get a look at them up close and personal while we chat. So, for the sensitive dip liquids from Revel Nail, so far I feel good. So far I don't feel any itching. I don't feel any like spider webs. You know how when your lungs are full of junk, they can feel like, and like it's webby? I don't feel any of that. I don't feel sneezy. So these are all great signs. However, sometimes dip flu is a slower onset. So if anything changes, I will definitely leave some sort of either follow-up short video or a post or something like that. But so far so good, and I'm actually optimistic. Revel, hit me up. Let's work together. This is some amazing stuff. I can tell you that their dip powders do look beautiful. I've never tried any of them because I have so many dip powders. But if the dip liquids are this good, I bet their powders are too. So definitely we should check that out. Let me know if you have tried any sensitive dip liquids and what your results were. Did it help? Did it not? What brand did you try? Do you get dip flu? And if so, I think you should try this. I think you should. I'm pretty impressed. But that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I'm not going to hold you all day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.